students, you are welcome to Economics online class. This is your 10th chapter, Environmental Economics. We have to start a new chapter today. In this chapter, you have to concentrate a link between economy and environment, and to describe the various types of environmental pollution and their effect, and to understand the importance of sustainable development. Okay? What about the introduction? Environmental economics, you can say easily EE. Okay, environmental economics is the study of interaction between the human economic activity and the natural environment. So the environmental economics is the subject of economics that is concerned with the efficient allocation of environmental resources. So how can we using the resources, allocation of resources efficiently? Okay, so what is that? The environmental resources efficiently used here. The environment provide both the direct value as well as the raw material intended for economic activity, thus making the environment and the economy interdependent. So it can making the economy and the environment interdependent. So one is depending other. Okay, so that environmental economics takes into consideration issues such as conservation and evaluation of natural resources, pollution control, waste management and recycling. Since resources, whether human, natural or monetary, are finite, these public policies are most effective only when they achieve the maximum possible benefit in the most efficient way. How can we using the resources? Okay, whether we are using efficiently or inefficiently. So this is the concept here. The key objectives of environmental economics is to identify those particular tools or policy alternatives that will move the market toward the most efficient allocation of natural resources. So through the policies, we know that the fiscal policy is a tool, isn't it? Like that here, a particular tools are the policy alternatives that will move the market toward the most efficient allocation of natural resources. So meaning of environment. The term environment has been derived from the French word environnement. It means to surround. Environment means all the conditions, circumstances and influences surrounding and affecting the development of an organism or group of organisms. Okay, it telling about the condition, okay, situation, the circumstances and influences surrounding and affecting the development of organism or group of organism. So it also means that complexion of physical, chemical and biotic factors that act upon an organism or an ecological community ultimately determine its form or survival. Okay, so that it also means that the complex of physical, chemical and biotic factors, it can acting upon an organism or an ecological community. So it ultimately determine its form and survival. How can they survive? How can it is forming? Everything coming here. This is meaning of environment. Meaning of environmental economics. Here, how can we utilizing the economics in environment? It is a different branch of economics that are recognizing the value of both the environment economic activity and make choices based those values. In economics, we are using choices, isn't it? So here, how can we evaluating environment and economic activity and make choices based the values? The goal is to balance the economic activity and the environmentally impact by taking into account all the cost and benefits. So we have to consider and discuss about the all the cost and benefits. In short, environmental economics is an area of economics that studies the financial impact of environment issues and policies. So, environmental economics involves theoretical and empirical studies of the economic effect of national or local environmental policies around the world. Whatever policies made by the government and the world, what are the effects and empirical studies, theoretical and empirical studies telling about that. Okay, this is the meaning of environmental economics. So next we have to move the ecosystem. Okay, so ecosystem, we know that an ecosystem includes all living things. Okay, whatever the plants, animals and organism, everything coming under the ecosystem, isn't it? So in a given area, interacting with each other, so plants and animals interacting with each other and also with their non-living environments, where the earth, the sun, soil, climate, atmosphere, these are all non-living things, isn't it? So ecosystem are the foundation of the biosphere and they determine the health of the entire earth system, which is living organism and non-living organism. So this is ecosystem, we know that. The ecosystem, you can say, make community, leisure, mobility, value, spaces, wellness, resources, growth, everything coming under the ecosystem. Okay. So linkage between economy and environment. What are the linkages between the economy and environment? Man's life is interconnected with the various other living and non-living things. So we are depending upon the living and non-living things. Okay. So the life also depends on social, political, ethical and philosophical. Man's life is interconnected with various other living and non-living things. Okay, we always depending living and non-living things. So the life also depends on social, political, ethical, philosophical and other aspects of economic system. In fact, the life of human beings is shaped by his living environment. The living environment will only shaping the human beings. Okay, so the relationship between the economy and the environment is generally explained in the form of material balanced model. So what is that material balanced model? So this is one more question. Okay, the linkage between the environment and the economy is generally explained in the form of material balanced model. It developed by Alan Keyes and R.V. Ayers. The model considers the total economic process as a physically balanced flow between inputs and outputs. Okay, you should understand here, which is the models telling about the economic process as a physically balanced flow between input and output. Inputs are bestowed with the physical property of energy which is received from the environment. Okay, and the interdependence of economics and the environment is given the figure here, the picture given here. Go through the picture. The natural environment. See here. The first law of thermodynamics. We know that the first law is thermodynamic. In science you studied. The law of conservation of matter and energy emphasizes that in any production system. Okay, so that what goes in must comes out. Okay, so that input and output is interlinked. That is known as the material balance approach or material balance principle. The material flow diagram implies that mass input must equal mass output for every process. Moreover, all resources extracted from the environment eventually become unwanted wastages and pollutions. See here, the raw material coming inside. So from the raw material, the producer producing products. Okay. So the products means goods and services. It modified as goods and goods going to reach the consumer. So consumer using the goods in their residual places and they have to discharge balances. Okay, so that the discharged goods is the recycled by the producer again. This is the natural environment. Okay, for production of output by firms. So here they clearly saying production of output by the firm from input resulting in discharges of soil, liquid and gaseous wastes. Okay, everything produced by the production. Okay, producer. So it is used by the consumer. After that it is going as a discharge of the soil like liquid and gaseous waste. Similarly, waste result from consumption activities by household. Okay, the wastages coming from the household. In short, material and energy are drawn from environment. So everything, the material and energy is drawn from the environment, used for production and consumption, and then returned back to the environment as waste. This is the material balance model. Okay, so in its simple form, the material balance approach can be put in form equation. So on equation, through the equation we can say about the material balance model. See here, M equal to G minus RC minus RP plus RP plus RC equal to RP plus RC. So here the first one is telling about R. Here RD. So what about that? Material and the energy flow from natural world, which determine the M. What is M? Material and energy flow from the natural world, which is M. And economic activities of goods and services production, which is denoted that G. Consumption production residual discharges from the consumption and production activities, which is RC plus RP, consumption and production, plus recycled from the production and consumption. The final residual discharges from the household, okay, from the production and consumption. So both the wastage is coming from the production area and also the consumption area. Consumption means the household, which is into the natural world. It is denoted that RDC plus RDC. So that the approach, balance approach, material balance approach can be explained through the equation. Okay, today we started the new chapter, environmental economics. We discussed about the introduction, meaning of environment, meaning of environmental economics, ecosystem, linkage between economy and environment, and natural environment. It is otherwise known as material balance model. Okay, go through the lesson carefully and learn the concept.